Right? Residual describe what remains after most of the thing is gone. It literally means what is left over. Meaning that, right, we only have active years. For example, for most of us, after you come out of school, you're probably 23, 24 years old, right? When you probably, if you work by the time until 55 or 60 years old, you're made good for about 30 to 40 years. Active years of doing things. What after that? That means once you stop working, stop being active, what will happen to you? Right? For most of the job and profession that we did, we realized that many times we could potentially create more residual risk, works, services that don't pay you. Giving an example of my previous career, right? I'm not trying to bring down the industry. Like my previous career, right? As I want to scale my business, I accumulate more customers. As I accumulate more customers, I only have limited payment of commission. That means I get paid for 5 years. Or some products I get paid for 10 years. But as I want to expand my business, I acquire more customers. When I acquire more customers, do I need to service them? Yes, no. But I service them, the longer I service them, but I don't get paid. So when I don't get paid, it means what? The service is a cost to me in terms of business. Right? So if you understand what I'm trying to say, if you don't understand, it's okay. Maybe too profound. But if you do understand what I mean, right, then you understand the business totally. For some of the things, right, some of the creation in this world, there's some good residual income. For example, if you're talented, like Derek, all right, some of the very famous people, right, that you realize that they're able to develop, they create songs, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, right, these people are super talented, which is most of the time you realize they're not duplicable. But the family members are still collecting royalty bonus, royalty income from the one-time effort, right, that they do. But unfortunately, my family members don't have anyone can sing very well or can become that famous. So richly you realize that for most of the people, right, our job and platform, right, do not create the kind of passive income, this residual income. So think about it, right? Are your current job or platform creating more residual income or risk when you are not around, when you are not active? Right? If there is no such feature in your current platform, you probably need to rethink about the current platform, the platform that you have, because you will never get retired. Right? You can retire, but probably you do not have income to sustain the lifestyle. So in conclusion, right, the front part I'm going to share with you, in conclusion, trying to understand what is time, what is money. So if you notice that the three questions I posed to you, right, I mentioned about time. Invest your time, invest wisely in your time. Did I mention that? This sentence actually repeated 3 to 4 times. So let me ask you one question. Is time more important than money, or time equals to money? Or both are important? Actually, technically, both are important, right? For those of people you realize that you don't have money yet, in fact, time is very precious. Give you an example, right? If you do not have any money today, or probably today that you have some financial loss, you're out of job today. But if you can live 1,000 years, can you one day be rich? Yes! Right? Unfortunately, we cannot live until 1,000. Right? Our time is running out every day, every second. Am I right? That means that your productive days and hours are getting less and less. So when you are able to relook into time, in fact, it's more important than money. Why? Because every one of us got time. And God gives us equal number of hours every day, 24 hours. But for money, not everyone is on the equal ground. Some people have unfair advantage, right? When they just came out, they just born, they already probably inherited a lot of money. So time being equal, right? In fact, you realize that you need to understand that how do you able to invest the time in the right vehicle, a platform that use compounding effect, they have a residual impact, right? So this is something that you need to read into it. So if you ask me, the success that I have over here, not because I understand about age law, Not because I understand about new skin, that this is skincare. No. Actually, the reason why I'm relatively more successful about this business because on the first day I joined this platform, I totally understand about this thing. So I never have any doubts as I build the business. I never lose focus. I have some setback, I have some challenges because I have no skills, but because I understand that at the end of the tunnel, there is light. Sometimes you realize that as you go through the dark tunnel, you begin to be doubtful. Whether will you see light at the end of the corner? Am I right? Right. So some people you realize that the U-turn, they goes back. But I'm very sure as I continue to drive through this tunnel, I will see the light. So that is the summary of the business. So as I was preparing for this class, I talked to many people. They were asking me that about how many of you actually listened to my 5P before, the 5P recording, the classic one. Right, that's pretty good. I don't have to go back and revisit because I cannot imagine what I talked last time. Right? The recording was developed in year 2001. So that is exactly almost like 9 months or almost a year after I built a business. Right? I came out with this sharing in one of the public classes. So this has been a very classic recording. Right? You can go back if you have the chance, right? Ask your referral, right, for this recording. So some people asking, right, is it timely for me right now at this moment to redo a new 5P, right, with the current market? Are you interested? Yes. I think only 3 of you interested. Yes. Huh? If 3 of you interested, that means I finished my talk already. Because all the secrets are all here. Right. I prepared because I think that there are some changes in the market, but actually as I prepare the slides, the fundamental of this business never change. This is something that I love about this business. So on the second part, I'm going to share with you about a new 5P. No clap. Many of which you realize that you'll find it very familiar. What I mentioned about the 3 effects that you have, right? Eventually you realize that if you do not have the right platform, you can't do it. So let's go back to the first P, if you could recall. When I did the session way back 20 years ago, I talked about positioning. I'm not like those people who are doing direct selling or MLM. They're telling you that you can make a lot of money, get rich quick, right? How much millions you can make. No. Right? That was way back 20 years ago, right? The lesson, the class was not means to convince people. The lesson is my understanding about the business. So I started off with positioning. I asked myself, if I'm capable, right? If I have a strong belief of myself, that means that wherever I go, I'm confident I can make money. So I started to ask myself, right? If I know I can make money, then the next question I should pose to myself is that what kind of money do I want to make? Of course, we want to make legal money. Recently in Singapore, we have some big cases of money laundering. Right? It's been alerted. It's a big hoo-ha in the whole world, right? So we want to make good money, right? Forceful, good kind of money that do good to people. So I came to a conclusion for myself, right? For myself that I want to build long term. So that in one day I get old, I get kind of residual impact, right? I want to build a stable, right? At the same time, I want to build a continual high income outcome. This is what I want. I'm not interested in doing new skin. I'm not interested in doing MLM. I'm not interested in doing direct selling. I'm not interested in selling skincare product. I'm not interested in selling weight loss product, right? What I'm interested in at the end of the road, when I'm 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road, by participating, focusing on what I'm doing, what I can get. In other words, the same questions I want to pose to you. What's in it for you? Right? I think these are key questions. What's in it for you? Right? So I ask myself, I think truly for the last 3 years because of COVID, right, we see the positive impact of our platform. I seen that there are some of the people, right, they lost in terms of financial, and lucky because they are the other half are doing this scheme, right, and they are able to support the family throughout this crisis. So in terms of emergency, they know how powerful our business platform, right? So that was my positioning on the first day. If you ask me, moving forward for the next 10, 20 years down the road, right, this never change. Because by having this kind of positioning, this kind of outcome, we will have freedom. Am I right? Right, we have all kinds of freedom, not just in terms of financial, we have a lot of mental freedom. Today you realize that mental stress has become a very, very popular, right? Not popular in a good sense, right? It's a very, mental illness is getting more and more in our society because of stress, right? The second P, okay, sorry. The next thing, right, we talk about, this slide for those of you who are with us for many years, you've probably seen this graph many years, right? But I don't know how many of you actually understand about this. This is the graph again. It's not preparing a class. It's a graph that I wrote for myself, right? Because as I was making choices in my life, I was asking myself, what are the choices that I have? Right? So for most people, you realize that they go into employment. For some people like me, they go to self-employed. Right? For some people, you realize that they're more daring, more entrepreneurial, willing to bear risk. Right? They go into conventional business, investing a lot of money. Right? So these are the three options available in the marketplace, which I think this is not something that I want. Right? If you look into long term for 30 years, I'm only involved in the business for 23 years. Right? I'm 52. I can make good for another 20, 30 years easily. Right? I want to benefit from it. So when I understand about this platform, the possibility that I can build this platform, right, to an infinity, right, to exponential growth. So what is the impact? You have this kind of result. Again, freedom. Right? The freedom and the flexibility they have. So none of us today, if you ask me, right, including many people you realize at our front rows, this morning we see so many medical professionals involved in the business. None of us, it's not because that we have nothing to do or we cannot find a job, we have no profession outside, that's why we come and do this skit. No. Right? For those of us, for those people you realize that if they are in ST, they know very well. They know that most of the platform and the job cannot help to get what they want at the end of the day. By the time they're 55 or 60 years old. So if you ask me today, right, is this graph still relevant? Yes, no? Yes. The fact that today, I think 90% of the population are still employees, they're on employment, meaning that you realize that we need to let them understand they are better alternative. Right? There are choices whereby you realize that they can help to fulfill their dreams. So that was, I think, that the wisest choice that I make. Right? That's why I say that choice is more important than just pure hard work. Right? The second one, which talk about platform. Right? For those of you who listen to the recording, right? We talk about company. But I think over the years, what have changed about this scheme? They have grown bigger today, right? They have developed such a huge, more embracing platform that I think that, probably it's easier for them to participate. So there are 5 key points in our platform, right? The first one, I don't have to explain too much. Next year, we celebrate 40 years old, right? So in 40 years, creating so many success stories, right? Created the most number of millionaires in the industry. Right? If this is not proven, I think the rest of other companies don't need to do anymore, right? So proven to record, I think is very important and reliable. Second one, being global allows us to scale, right? As we scale, there's no risk-free. The third one, opportunity for all. This is rare, right? Very rare. As you join the business today, right? For some countries of legal age, 18 years old, they can start joining the business. They don't require you to have a degree. If you go for an interview, right, to certain job, whichever, you realize that they need to look into what you do in the past. Did anyone of you join this scheme, you realize that they ask you for university degree, right? Please send me your resume before you can start to become a brand rep. No, right? Is there any requirement or expiry age whereby you realize that, right, you can start to get involved in this scheme platform? Yes, no? No. If you are 90 years old, if you are keen, you can start the platform too. You can start the business also. If you compare to other jobs and other platforms, most of the time, there is restriction, right? That's why I find that it's wonderful, right? So it doesn't require you to be a university to graduate. That's why this morning you can hear some of the success story, right? They were not very educated, but the people become successful, right? The fourth one, flexibility. I think flexibility has become a very important option for a lot of new generation today, right? They may not come here to just want to make money, right? They think more abundant, but they want the kind of flexibility, the kind of freedom. So in fact, I think mobility has become a very powerful features, right? Mobility means that you realize that literally you can work anytime, anywhere, right? I think one of our leaders, Bao-Yen and Alan, right? But Bao-Yen is here today joining us, flying all the way back from Melbourne. The whole family has migrated to Australia last year, right? So her business is not affected, New Skin business account, right? It's not affected. But for many professions, right? If you want to migrate to another country, you couldn't practice anymore. You're probably going to start from everything from zero. But today you realize that there's so much flexibility today. If you don't like this city, right? For those of you from China, right? If you don't like Shenzhen, if one day you realize that you decided to move to Chengdu, you can easily move, transit to Chengdu, right? Your business is together with you. Isn't it wonderful? I can tell you that it seems like a luxury, for many people, right? Another one is about transferable, right? Transferable is something that is also very unique. For most of the job position, right, in the marketplace, if you are accountant, right, it's a profession. If your children is not accountant by practice, you cannot transfer the business to them. Correct? Because they don't have the qualification. Right? But for our business, you realize that interestingly that, right, you build the business, the account that you have with New Skin. When you join the business, you realize that you establish an account with them, relationship. This account can be transferable to anyone. It can be in the form of gift, right? Gifting, or in the form of realize asset transfer, right, to your next generation. This is almost impossible or unheard of in any job. Right? If you are a CEO of a public listed company, if you step down, right, unless you're the boss, if you're not the owner, if you're just a professional manager, right, you can tell your boss, I work for you 30 years, I expand from Malaysia, Singapore, I expand to the whole world. My son, 21 years old, already adult. Can my son take over the CEO of the company? Yes, no. New Skin allows you to take over the COE. Right, COE1, COE2, COE3. Right, that's a transferable. I think it's very unique, right? It's very hard for you to find this kind of feature. The last one, right, innovators DNA. Right, I think this is something that's important, right? Some of things that we cannot understand, but innovators means that you realize that they are visionary, they are market leader. They start to plan ahead for the next 5, 10, and 20 years. They see the trend, right? They started to build some infrastructures to support us in our business group. So basically, right, this slide illustrates that most of the risks of the traditional business are borne by the platform, right? We only need to do two things: marketing of products and marketing of business opportunity, right? In any business, all are cost centers. Only two things bring in revenue: sales and marketing. So explain to you why most businesses fail. Because as they bring in revenue, they need to take care of a lot of other cost centers. So when the cost centers goes up multiple times to service the business growth, if they cannot do that, manage it well, then the business collapses. So this is the reason why that most of the time company fails. Not because the company is big size or small size. Many times the big size one is even more dangerous, more risky, right? Because they have more commitment and high cost. right? Just want to share a little bit about this innovator's DNA, which I think that is going to affect your business for the next 10 years, right? Whatever you attend today for the next one day or so, or what you see is the past, right? It's just like an annual report presented to you, right? What you want to know is that if I decided to work hard today, what will happen 10 and 20 years down the road for me and for my family? So the innovator's DNA in the company is very important. So our founding was based on innovation, right? We always wanted to be 10 steps ahead of everyone else. So recent years, right, about last 2 years, we heard a lot about Empower Me, right? A lot of things about Empower Me. You may not understand. Tell you frankly,